Welcome back. Our first two sessions this month focus on the spiritual disciplines of reading the Bible and prayer, and how those relate to points from the recent Pentecost service of having trust in God and our spiritual equilibrium. In this week's session, we'll explore the spiritual discipline of worship. When we hear the word worship, we may think of music and its various styles, or perhaps the window of time specifically before the start of a divine service, that is to prepare us for word and sacrament. While these are both examples of worship, our understanding of worship cannot be limited to just music or a time slot on Sunday mornings. When used as a verb, worship is defined as to show reverence and adoration for. Our catechism explains that only God is worthy of worship. Only He is to be served. The forms of worshiping God in the Old Covenant are various. The Psalms attest that praise and adoration come to expression in prayer. The sacrificial service in the temple was also a form of worship. In John chapter 4, Jesus, having seen that worship had become ritualistic and purely external, said to the woman at the well, "The hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship Him. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth." Thus, the proper worship of God is not just a formal act, but rather consists of a person's complete devotion to God. One of the most evident avenues of this devotion is our conversation. In the recent Pentecost service, we were challenged to think about our speech. Can others recognize that we are children of God by our language? Not just the words we use, but the tone, the context, and intention of what we say. How do we speak about the past? Do we see the good gifts we have received from God and worship Him by thanking Him for His provision in our lives? What about the present? When we speak about the situations and circumstances of our lives in the present, can people see and hear that our absolute priority is fellowship with Jesus? And the future, is our language and speech about the future reflective of our hope and trust in God? We have a great opportunity and holy responsibility to worship God through our language and speech. Worship is our response to God and our expression of what He means to us. In addition to our conversations and speech, we can worship God through our actions. You may remember our yearly theme about glorifying God, specifically through our behavior. Our daily words and behavior can express worship to God. Worship is a spiritual discipline because it requires intentionality and focus on our part. There is a fine line, though. While disciplines help create patterns of behavior, the discipline and pattern itself is not the goal. The goal of a spiritual discipline is to be intentional and set aside time, space, and focus to connect with God and allow Him to transform us. Think of a farmer. All that a farmer can do is provide the right conditions to grow a crop. He can't force the seed to grow. Jesus spoke about the right conditions for seeds to grow in His parable of the sower in Matthew 13. In the parable, the only seeds that produced the crop were the ones that fell on the good soil, not the ones that fell among the stones or the weeds or the thorns. Spiritual disciplines help cultivate us and get our souls to a place where they can be changed and strengthened by Him. There will always be things to fill up our time, like Netflix, or even positive things like family time. Again, those aren't bad, and we especially encourage building and strengthening relationships among families and those around you. However, please don't neglect the time that your soul needs to be in a place where God can do amazing things. This coming month, set up a plan to intentionally and strategically make the time and space to dive deeper into Scripture. Allow God to speak with you in prayer, and find new ways to worship God in your daily routine, both in your words and in your behavior.